Hey guys, welcome to another Tutorial Tuesday. Today I'm stoked because today's tutorial is going to be on lunar eclipses and how to photograph them. So let's get into it. I'm going to use the drift method. Freaking incredible. Round F16 for that to get that sunburst. Alright, so if you haven't heard, it might be too late for you anyways, but tomorrow, Wednesday, there will be a lunar eclipse. And this one's going to be special because it's a blood moon, which is the eclipse. It's the blue moon, which means it's the second full moon in a monthly calendar. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, and it's a super moon. So that means the moon is it's perigee, closest to Earth here, so it's going to be a little bit bigger. So we have all three of those combined into one happiness astronomical event, and we're going to shoot it. So I just want to go over a few ways that we can do that and a couple of behooving settings and ideas for you guys. Keep in mind that the settings I'm going to share with you may not be exactly what you want, but they're a good ballpark, and we're going to go over different lens choices and all of that kind of stuff so you can have an idea of what it's going to look like if you try to shoot it super close and what it's going to look like if you try to shoot it super wide. And I want to go over some of the images that I've shot in the past of lunar eclipses, and I've shot a couple of them in the past couple of years. So let's jump into my computer and we'll go over some of those, and then I'll start talking about all of your different options and settings and stuff. All right, so before we jump into the computer, let's talk about real quick the first most important thing for how to photograph a lunar eclipse. How do you find it, and how do you know where it's going to be and when it's going to be and where you need to be? So there's a couple of things I use for that. The first thing I use is my handy dandy phone, and I use two programs on my phone called, the first one is Sun Surveyor. Okay, so here is Sun Surveyor. This is the app, and I just have it mounted to the top of my camera here. So what we're gonna do, this is the view that it's going to give you. I have it set for the moon, as you can see here, and then you can swipe that way or whatever. There's more to it, but we're concerned with the moon rise, and we're concerned with where the moon is now. So once you activate your GPS here, then this will show you where the moon is, and then when you move it around, you'll be able to see if you're not exactly in front of it, you can move it around until you get in front of it, and then you can put the moon in that dot so you know it's looking straight forward. The second app that I use is called the Photographer's Ephemeris, and that app is both on my phone and on my computer. Okay, so this is TPE, the Photographer's Ephemeris, and this is the map of where I'm standing right now. I'm on the side of some crazy mountain near my house, and if we zoom out, so we can see there's Silver City, New Mexico, where I'm at. So what we're looking for here is the moon set is the dark line, so that the dark blue line. So that's the line you're going to want to look for the moon set, because the lunar eclipse is going to happen like between 3:30 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. the morning of the 1st. So you're going to want to look for the blue line, which is the moon set. So it's going to set in the northwest, and it's going to rise in the northeast, and then this is the sunrise and the sunset. So Photographer's Ephemeris and Sun Surveyor. I will put the links of both of those in the description below. And now we are ready to jump into the computer. All right, so we're going to look at a couple of different things here. First, we're going to look at, here's some of the examples that I've done, and we're going to go over the settings, and then we're also going to look at the focal lengths and that sort of, so you can get a feel for the lenses that you might want or you might need depending on the look that you're going for. So let's start with this one. This was the partial eclipse in February of 2017. So this one here I shot at 400 millimeters. So f5.6, which is wide open at 400 for me, 50th of a second, ISO 320. So this happened at like 6:30 or so p.m. So this happened right after about 30 minutes or so after sunset, and that's why we're getting this kind of blue hour. And that really worked in the favor of everything because we get enough ambient light to light this foreground up, and we get the moon this was only a partial eclipse, so you're going to see how that's going to hurt me in a little bit, but we get the partial eclipse going on there to darken the moon up a little bit. So I was able to pull this off in one exposure, and those were my settings at 5.6, 1/50th, ISO 320. Again, that's 400 millimeters. Okay, here's a super ultra wide one, same eclipse, February 2017. This is with my 14 millimeter on my 1DX. So this is full frame, 14 millimeter. So that's the moon, much tinier. And that's the landscape there. So that's going to be a lot harder too, because that's going to be more of a pinpoint kind of star looking thing where it's going to be super bright. But that's at f4.5, 13 seconds. So I didn't realize that was such a long. So that was much longer, but it was a lot darker then because the moon has already been up for almost an hour or so. So there was definitely less ambient light. So that's where the 13 seconds comes into play. Also ISO 100, so to get a nice clean image there. So that's just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like in frame, super wide. Okay, so let's go down a little bit and let's look here. So this, again, all of this so far has been on a full frame. So this is the raw image here. And again, if you just want to shoot just that, and you can tell, well, I've got some hot pixels in there, but you can see a couple of stars mixed in with my hot pixels. So we're at f8 to get a little bit of more of a depth of field there, and we're at 0.8 seconds, and we're at ISO 4000, so really had to crank it up on that one. And I did that because I don't want to do, the longer your focal length, the shorter the amount of time you're going to have to shoot things without seeing motion blur. So with 400 millimeters, you start shooting it over a second and it's just something as big as the moon, it's not going to stay still. So that's why I cranked up the ISO. And then here is a cleaned up version of that, and then cropped in a little bit. So this is what you're going to see before the eclipse hits the max eclipse here. So you're going to see this is going to be super overexposed, just like in a solar eclipse. And my settings are on this one. This is f5.6 is wide open. We are at 400 millimeters on my full frame, and then here it is cropped in. So we're at f5.6, 1/6 of a second, ISO 2500, and this is where you kind of have to make a judgment call. I decided to have this blown out so that the rest of this wouldn't be super underexposed or super overexposed. You're just gonna have to find that middle ground for if you want to take a picture with, with it not in a partial phase, because in partial phase you're going to get that dichotomy from the super bright to the super dark over here. Okay, so let's look at something a little bit different. So this is if you want to go wider and capture a landscape, which I think for this one is going to be really cool because it's going to be during the time of the eclipse in most of America. It's going to be much closer to the horizon, so that's going to make for an interesting landscape if you can get to a cool landscape area. So here we have I have my 24-70 on, and I had it at 50 millimeters. So this is 50 millimeters, f2.8, 1/3 of a second at ISO 320. All right, so let's take a look at a couple more and see. So this is back to the February of 2017 lunar eclipse, and back in Silver City here. So I had on for this set of images, I had on a 24-105, and I had it at f5. And so this one I had to do bracketing though, because the moon was already too bright. So you can see here, this one is exposed beautifully for the foreground, but the moon is blown out. So this one here, we're exposed for the moon, but everything else is super dark. So I put these together in Photoshop, and this is what I got. So overall, You might have to do exposure bracketing if you're wanting to show a landscape, because that moon might be too bright even with the full eclipse going on. So like I said, this one again is at f5, 13th of a second, ISO 160, and that's for the foreground one. And then take a separate one with everything, but you just up your shutter speed until the moon is properly exposed. Then you can blend those two in Photoshop and you get something cool like this. Okay, that was a lot of talking. Let's wrap it up now. All right, so I hope that information helped you. I hope now you can have a good idea of the different types of lenses you might want to try, and if you want to try to get something just different than just a straight up close-up, because too, you might not have a 400. So hopefully all that stuff helps you. If you have any other questions about anything that I didn't cover and you want to know, make sure you leave those in the comment section below and I will definitely answer them. So if you missed this lunar eclipse, just keep this in mind and be ready for the next one. And if you like this stuff and you want to see more of it, new tutorial Tuesday, every single Tuesday. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.